Mineral nutrition. No, new chapter.
New chapter direct.
That is last enzyme and that was last. Enzyme substrate complex.
Biomolecule.
Biomolecules is over.
Sir, for exam, what is the question?
Yeah. Three chapters. Now, mineral nutrition. You can see what is this? What is this? Potassium, nitrogen, phosphorus, sodium, sulfur, oxygen, iron, calcium, manganese, boron, carbon, hydrogen, and magnesium. So these are some mineral nutrients. Mineral means mostly which are available in the soil. From the soil, they will get the nutrition. The other macronutrients are carbon, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, sugars. So mineral nutrition, don't write anything. Okay, I'll give you notes for this. Yeah, all organism requires macromolecules like carbohydrate, protein, fats, etc., water and minerals for the growth and development. Okay? This is simple statement. We all require, all organisms, not only plants, all organisms require macromolecules. Why they are called macromolecules? Because their size will be big. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, okay, they will contain many atoms. Okay. Now, this is hydroponics. Okay. What is hydro? Water. Okay. So hydroponics, it is a technique of growing plants in defined nutrient solution. Where we usually grow plants? In the soil. If I tell you go and grow one plant, directly you will go and grow, try to get the soil first. But in hydroponics, we grow a plant in a nutrient solution. We grow a plant in a nutrient solution that is without soil. It was demonstrated by Julius von Schäches in Germany in 1860. The nutrient solution is aerated for optimum growth. Okay, you can see the picture here. Here there is aerated tube. Aerated tube means what do you mean by aerated tube? Air is passed through the water, through the solution. When the air is passed, the mixture will mix properly. And each and every part of the root will get the nutrient. If the nutrient is over, we can add more water and more nutrients. So this is the best technique. Recently in Goa, they caught one couple who were growing nicotine plant in hydroponics. Nicotine, okay, nicotine you all know, no? Yeah. So it is illegal. So what they did, they brought the plant and they started growing nicotine inside the house. Who will come inside and check? Using hydroponics, you can grow anywhere. Inside the house, you have to just maintain. They had properly made a sunlight you can give by some light also. You can provide sunlight by some light. It is not sunlight. Any light will help. When we do experiment in laboratory, light is necessary for growth. We will not give sunlight. We can give any light. So they had done that and they were caught. It was like almost big room, full hall, and it was well planned. Like properly they had given the condition. Not any gouty like take a glass, put water. Everything proper. Okay. So this is the technique. Now there is one advantage of this technique. Hydroponics was used to identify essential elements required for plants and their deficiency symptoms. Now there are so many mineral nutrients are there. All are together, all are not separate. Let us take nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Okay, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, NPK. Every nutrient element will give support to the plant. It will help the plant in some way or the other. For example, one will help in enzyme activity. The other one will help in cell membrane. The other one will help in transport, ion exchange. But we have taken just nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Now, if you want to know what is the role of nitrogen, what you can do, what you will do to study the role of nitrogen.
In this we'll keep everything low but high, nitrogen high.
Okay, one idea, okay, almost close. You give more nitrogen and see water plant. But at the same time, the others are also working there. You have kept the others low, but you are providing them also. Okay, you are saying you are giving 10 gram of nitrogen and 1 gram of potassium and 1 gram of the NPK, PK. Okay, so he is almost correct. Instead of doing that, you don't give nitrogen only. You don't give nitrogen. What will happen if you don't give nitrogen? The plant will show some defect. Then you can say this defect, for example, the leaves started turning yellow. So you can say that nitrogen, because of nitrogen, the leaves were green. Okay, just to give an example, because of nitrogen, the leaves were green, or nitrogen helps in making chlorophyll. Like actually, magnesium helps, but let us take that in. So, can you remove some nutrient from the soil? If I give you soil, is it possible for you to remove nutrient, a particular nutrient? No. But can you try in hydroponics?
Yes.
What we are doing hydroponics, we take water, we add all the nutrients. We take water, we will add all the mineral nutrients in the soil, in the water, sorry. Now, to study nitrogen, what I will do? I will add all the nutrients and remove, not give nitrogen. To study potassium, add everything except potassium. To study calcium, add everything, don't add calcium. So this is how you can study. Hydroponics was used to identify essential elements required for plant. Element required for plant, and what is the function of that plant. If that, what is the function of that element? If that element is not given, the plant will suffer some deficiency syndrome. In this, the plant roots were immersed in nutrient solutions and an element was added. Okay, an element was added or removed or given in varied concentration. So he was saying you give excess. Now we can all see there are two things we have studied in endocrine system: hypersecretion and hyposecretion. Now what he studied was he was studying hypersecretion. Now if you give more nitrogen, what will happen to the plant? What he said was, if you give more nitrogen, what will happen to the plant? The plant will show some defect. And if I don't give nitrogen completely, or if I decrease the concentration, so everything you can do. You can either completely see what happens if more nitrogen is given, and what happens if less nitrogen is given, and what happens when normal nitrogen is given. Okay. So hydroponics is used to commercial production of vegetables like tomato, seedless cucumber, and lettuce. You'll know, no lettuce, the pana leaf like. Okay. So this is used mostly for commercial production. So here what we can do, aram se you can maintain the temperature, maintain the water. Even if it rains outside, even if it is dull outside, it will not affect the plant growth. You can increase the production by giving more nutrients. And this is how it works. The water keeps on moving, circulation of the water. It is not like the water is stagnant there. If water is stagnant, the chances of bacteria growing. So it is like continuously moving. You can add pesticide, anything in that. Next is essential mineral elements. So under essential mineral elements, more than 60 elements are found in different plants. More than 60. Some plant species accumulate selenium and gold. Okay, there are some plants in the roots you will find gold and selenium. Some plants growing near nuclear test sites take up radioactive strontium. So, in some plants which are growing near the radioactive sites, okay, like nuclear plants, power plant, there you can see they absorb strontium. There, there are techniques to detect mineral even at a very low concentration. We can detect the mineral even at low concentration. What we will do, we will bring the root, make dry it. I told you to study chemical, we can either what we'll do, we will burn it or make it ash. We will convert it into ash. We can study the chemical constituent. To study biological constituent, we have to keep it live. Like we will just grind it. If you burn it, that ash will not give you the biological constituent, like organic, because it contains carbon and hydrogen. Okay, when we burn, carbon will be lost as carbon dioxide, and hydrogen will be lost as water vapor. Okay. Now here essential mineral elements we have NPK, magnesium, sulfur, calcium, boron, chlorine, manganese, iron, nickel, copper, zinc, molybdenum, hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. Okay. All elements must be needed for normal growth and reproduction. In the absence of the element, the plants do not complete their life cycle or set seeds. The requirement of an element must be specific. That is, deficiency of element cannot be met by other element. Got this point? That should be specific. Like I am teaching you biology, the other physics teacher cannot come and teach you biology. The requirement should be specific. It must be directly involved in the plant metabolism. It should be directly involved in the plant element. Only 17 elements are absolutely essential for plant growth and metabolism. They are absolutely essential. 17. Next is essential mineral element. Based on the quantitative requirements, essential elements can be classified into macro and micronutrient. Okay, based on the quantity. If it is required in more quantity, it will be considered as macronutrient. If it is required in less quantity, we will call it as micronutrient. Now here we have non-minerals like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Minerals we have nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Secondary macro we have like calcium, magnesium, sulfur, and micronutrients we have boron, chlorine, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum, silicon, then sodium, and zinc. Okay. So you have to know all the micro and macronutrients and difference between macronutrient and micronutrient. Now let's see macronutrient. Macronutrient we have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. There is some mnemonics called Chopkins. You just find it. Chopkins, something is there. Chop means C for carbon, H for hydrogen, O for oxygen, P for phosphorus, K for potassium, and I is silent, I think that. Okay, it is, you will find it. Now they are present in plant tissue in large amount, that is more than 10 millimole per kilogram of dry matter. 10 millimole. You all know what is more 1 mole? That is number of molecules in 1 mole. That is 6 into 10 raised to 23 molecules. But what is 1 mole? What will be 1 mole of water? Water. 18 gram. Correct? Like you have to know the molecular mass. 18 gram. Like 1 mole of sodium hydroxide. 1. 40 gram. That is 1 mole. So here it is required more than 10 millimole. Milli means 10 raised to minus 3. Got no? More than 10 millimole. Okay, 10 millimole. Or you can just say 1 into 10 raised to minus 2 of dry matter. They include carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen are mainly obtained from carbon dioxide and water. Others are absorbed from the soil as mineral nutrients. Okay. Others are absorbed by soil. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen from water and carbon dioxide. Okay. Then essential mineral nutrients. Okay, micronutrients. We have iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, chlorine, and nickel. They are needed in very small amount, which is less than 10 millimoles per kg of dry matter. Per kg of dry matter, there should be just 10, less than 10 millimoles. They include iron, manganese, copper, molybdenum, zinc, boron, chlorine, and nickel. For higher plants, there are some other elements required such as sodium, silicon, cobalt, and selenium, depending on the availability. Like they said, some plants you can find gold in their roots, selenium in their roots. Some you can find radioactive substances in their roots, depending on the availability there. Okay, next we have essential mineral elements. Based on the function, essential mineral elements are of four types. The first type is component of biomolecules and structural elements of the cell. If it is taking part in forming the structure of the plant, like example cell wall, they are called as component of biomolecules. In this we have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Components of energy related chemical compounds. Energy related, which is the common ATP. Which element it is? Phosphorus. ATP, phosphorus. Example, magnesium is in chlorophyll. What is present in hemoglobin? Magnesium is in chlorine. And what is present in hemoglobin? Element, which ion? In hemoglobin, it is iron. In chlorophyll, it is magnesium. Then elements that activate or inhibit enzyme. There are few elements which activates or inhibits the enzyme. Example, Mg plus 2 is an activator of rubisco and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase. Okay. So these are two enzymes, rubisco and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase. They are critical enzyme in photosynthetic carbon fixation. Rubisco is used for carbon fixation. Okay, they have to fix the carbon dioxide, they have to convert to carbohydrate. From fix the carbon dioxide in the molecules and convert it into carbohydrate. Okay. Then zinc is an activator of alcohol dehydrogenase and molybdenum for nitrogenase during nitrogen metabolism. Elements that alter the osmotic pressure of the cell, like potassium will be there. They have to alter the osmotic pressure of the cell. Means it will be present in the cell membrane. It will go near the cell membrane and try to make holes in the cell membrane so that they can absorb some minerals. Okay, or they can allow some entry or exit of minerals. So example, potassium helps in opening and closing of stomata. Now, essential mineral elements, role of macro and micronutrient. Essential elements have role in metabolic processes. Okay. Overall, it is given. You have to study each element at least two functions. Overall, permeability of cell membrane. What is permeability of cell membrane? Permeability of cell membrane. Jensia, what is permeability? What is permi? Where you have heard this word permi? Permi. Permission. Okay. Yeah, like it will allow, it will give permission for certain elements to enter and exit. That's why the word permeability. Second is maintenance of osmotic concentration of the cell. It will maintain the osmotic concentration. What is concentration? Yeah, hypertonic or hypotonic. Concentration means there are some elements in the water. Like here, mostly it is potassium. Potassium will go inside. It will either move inside to make hypertonic. It can come out to become it hypotonic, the cell. Electrons transport system. Okay. The electrons should be transported. During photosynthesis, you will learn this. Buffering action. What is buffering? What is a buffer? Buffer. Not that buffering. Buffer in chemistry. Buffer. You know what is pH?
Yeah.
To maintain the pH at that point, we use buffer. If you want to maintain the pH at 7, you add some buffer. Because the enzymes are active at that pH only. So that is buffering. Then enzyme activity. They can activate or inactivate one enzyme. Constituent of macromolecules and coenzyme. Now, essential mineral elements, nitrogen. We will do nitrogen too. This is required for plants in greatest amount. It is absorbed mainly as What is NO3 minus? Nitrate. Some are also taken as NO2 minus. Minus. NO2 is nitrogen dioxide. NO2 minus what it will be? Nitrate and nitrate and किती असतं? Nitrate and what is the other? Sulfate and sulfide. आणि sulfide असतं. IDE, ITE आणि ATE. Okay, so this will be nitrite. And NH4 plus ammonium ions. It is essential for all plant parts, mainly meristematic tissue and metabolic active cell. It is the major constituent of amino acids, protein, nucleic acid, chlorophyll, vitamins, and hormones. So nitrogen is mostly present in proteins and amino acids. You remember protein and amino acid, plus also in DNA, nucleic acid. Next is phosphorus. It is absorbed by plants from soil as phosphate ions. Where is phosphorus present? Given here? It's not given here. Which is where it is present, phosphorus? Where it is required? It is the constituent of cell membrane, certain proteins, all nucleic acid and nucleotide. It is required for phosphorylation reaction. But other than this, one main component is there where phosphorus is present. What is that?
Shells.
Phosphorus. Three-letter word. Three-letter word. Yeah. What is that? Which is the energy molecule? ATP. Okay. Just remember that. If you forget this, at least you have to remember ATP. ATP is made up of phosphorus. Okay. That is called phosphorylation reactions. Addition of phosphate to any molecule is called as phosphorylation. What is removal of phosphate? Yeah, if addition is phosphorylation, what is dephosphorylation? Okay. Then potassium, it is absorbed as K plus ion. It is highly required in meristem, birds, leaves, and roots. Function, it maintains the anion cation balance in the cell. It is involved in protein synthesis, opening and closing of stomata. At least that you all will remember. K plus potassium ion theory. K plus ion theory of opening and closing of stomata. Activation of enzyme and in maintenance of the turgidity. So two easy points to remember is opening and closing of stomata and maintaining the turgidity. Then calcium, it is absorbed from the soil as calcium ions. It is required by meristematic and differentiating tissue. It accumulates in other older cells. Older leaves, it is there. If you remember, it is the only thing which is not taken by the plant. If a leaf is dying, whatever important things are taken back, but calcium is not taken. Now, function, during cell division, it is used in synthesis of cell wall, particularly as calcium pectate in middle lamella. It is also needed during the formation of mitotic spindle. For normal functioning of the cell membrane, it activates certain enzymes and plays an important role in regulating metabolic activities. Next is magnesium. Where it is present? Chlorophyll. That at least you have to know. Magnesium is present in chlorophyll. Magnesium is absorbed as magnesium plus 2 ion. It activates enzyme for respiration and photosynthesis. It is involved in synthesis of DNA and RNA. It is the constituent of the chlorophyll. It helps to maintain the ribosome structure. Next, sulfur. Plants obtain it as sulfate. It is present in two amino acids, cysteine and methionine. Function is constituent of coenzyme and vitamins. You have to know only the function, mostly. Iron is ferric ions. Plants obtain iron as ferric ion. Here you can see the leaves turn yellow if no iron is given. Means they lose chlorophyll. It maintains constituent of proteins involved in the transfer of electrons like pyridoxine and cytochrome. There is electron transport chain, you remember. It is helping in electron transport chain that you will learn in photosynthesis chapter. It is reversibly oxidized to Fe2 plus from Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus during electron transport. It activates catalase enzyme and is essential for the formation of chlorophyll. We will stop here. Oh, yeah.